What's up everyone, David Seven Skies here, broadcasting from the Seven Skies Mansion. Today marks episode number 1 of my new Q&A series here on YouTube and possibly even IGTV. So basically every other Friday, what I'm going to do is I'm going to post a story on my Instagram. And if you don't follow me yet, follow @7skies on Instagram. And I'm just going to post the classic Q&A little box where you can ask your questions, and then I'll answer them in a video like this that I'll post on YouTube and my IGTV. So this is a completely new format, so I'm still testing a couple things. So let me know in the comments if you like it, if you would rather have something different. I'm super open to feedback, and obviously I want to make this thing as cool and nice as possible. So please help me making this the best experience for you guys. Okay, so let's go with the questions. Question number 1 by I am 31 or 311 something. It's gonna be very difficult to pronounce like all of these nicknames and stuff right, so please bear with me. He's asking, how do I make my tracks sound professional? Well, there are different things that you can do to make your tracks sound professional. I would say there are 3 main things. Actually 4 main things. The first one being picking the right sound. That's super important. And I don't want to promote standalone music right now, but we do have some super high quality samples and presets and instruments. So if you haven't yet, go check out standalone-music.com. That being said, really good sounding samples and really good sounding preset is definitely gonna step up your game when it comes to quality of production. Another thing that's really important is learn how to layer. That's incredibly important, and most of the time that's what sets a professional producer apart from a beginner producer. A lot of people layer just because they hear from people like me that they have to layer. They don't really understand the concept. I actually made a video on Dharma on how I layer and all the concept that I sort of use to layer my tracks, and I'm gonna post it somewhere here or here. So check that video out. It's hopefully gonna help you a lot with that. Another thing that will help your track to sound professional is mixing and obviously mastering. Sometimes I listen to demos and the ideas are great, but the track is completely unbalanced, the mix is completely off, and that can really take down the quality of a song. You know, having the music matters, but also the way that the music is presented matters. So spend as much time as you can learning how to mix and learning how to master. If you don't know how to master, there are people, again, I have a mastering service on standalonemusic.com. It's not quite ready yet, but it's there if you message me. I don't do it for everybody, but beside me, there are other websites that help you with mixing and mastering. So if you think you have a great idea, the best thing that you can do, if you are unexperienced with mixing and mastering, send it to an expert engineer, pay something, but you will have a professionally sounding, professionally mixed and professionally mastered track, and it's gonna make a lot of difference. Moving on to the next question. For AQ IBM, I don't know how to pronounce that, sorry. Basically, this guy is asking, everything sounds good in his tracks except for the drop that sounds like it's playing in the background. This is actually one of the problems that I heard the most when it comes to demos that get sent to me. Sometimes you get breakdown that is like this loud, and then it builds a bit, it gets even bigger, and then it drops, and it's this. And it's such a letdown. It's so underwhelming. So what do? Well, it's critical that you understand how to make a build. That's the first thing. A build should give tension and energy, but at the same time, when you know what you're doing, a build, it's the perfect time for you to remove things. So if you listen to a lot of tracks, if you listen to my tracks, for example, you will hear during the build up, we always remove things. We remove the bass, we put high pass filter, and everything builds, but it also becomes thinner. So that helps a lot, because if you have a lot of bass in the breakdown, which is normal. Sometimes you have this like big drones and big synths. Everything sounds super wide and big, and sometimes you just want to go to a very minimal drop. So how do you transition from something that sounds super huge to something that sounds minimal? Well, the build is the perfect time. You remove stuff, you filter stuff, you fade stuff, and by the time you get to the end of the build, you leave that bar or half a bar of empty space, and that gives a bigger impact to the drop when the drop comes. Another thing that I do that is very important to me, I do this in the mastering stage. I will do automation on the volume. So for example, my breakdown will have an automation where the whole track is actually quieter, and then as it builds, the automation gets even quieter, and then when the drop comes in, I have a very quick automation that snaps the volume back to 0, and this helps the drop getting a super big impact, and it sounds way bigger. It sounds very way more louder. Okay, so next question, Joshua James Castle, I can say this one, is asking me if it's possible to release a remix with official stems downloaded from a competition but never entered. Long story short, it's not possible. I mean, you shouldn't. Reality is, nowadays with SoundCloud and YouTube and all this website, you can basically do whatever you want. As far as you don't profit from the song, it's generally okay. But for the most part, the moment you put something, the moment the algorithm of a certain website figures out that you're using copyrighted material, they're going to take it down. So you're not going to get in legal trouble, again, especially if you're not profiting from it. But website take copyright stuff very seriously, so you might get your tracks taken down. I mean, it's not the first time that you see people complaining about the SoundCloud algorithm just like going through their profile and just removing shit. So yeah, do it at your own risk, I guess. Next question, Irvin7, why the name Seven Skies, bro? Well, that's a long story actually, but basically, I was born the 7th of January, so 7 has always been a favorite number of mine, and also, you know, 7 has it's normally a pretty powerful number in religion. I'm not a religious person, but in religion, it's normally a very important number, along with the 3, I guess. And I've always been a fan of the sky. Basically, I really like constellations, stars, and all that kind of stuff. So that was my first thought. I always wanted to have something that was related to 7 and something that was related to the sky. And then one day, since I've always loved to travel and since I've always wanted to DJ around the world, you know how in the pirate stories they have the 7 seas. There's stories about the pirates of the 7 seas. And because I wanted to travel so much, I always thought it was cool to see myself as a pirate that would fly around the world to go play in clubs and festival, and so I like this idea of being a pirate of the 7 skies. And like I said before, I always wanted to have something that has to do with 7 and the sky, and that's how 7 Skies was born. All right, next question. Ace Music 0 is asking me, 7 Skies, I'm a big fan and use your sounds, and they were great. Thank you so much. How to make a good Reese bass. It's really funny because I was having this conversation with Oliver Eldens a few weeks ago. So basically, a Reese bass, in my opinion, is a really simple sound. So the way a Reese bass, if you don't know the way a Reese bass is made, you get 2 saws, and one of these saws is detuned, and then you filter both saws, and then you get this like very big detuned, very organic sounding bass. So concept wise, Reese bass is really simple. You can obviously spice it up, and what you can do, what I normally do is I would put certain type of distortion. I use Saturn a lot. I think Saturn is amazing for this kind of basses. Also, what you can do is you can add a little bit of resonance to the filter. Obviously, different filter stages combined to different resonance stages create different effects, and so depending on your key, depending on the song, you can try experiment with the amount of filter and resonance that you're using. And like I said, you can run the sound through a distortion, multiband distortion, guitar amp. You can do lots of things, but definitely distortion and filter stages, I think, is the most important thing to spice up your respace. Shubai, I'm not even going to try and read this one, is asking how to learn music theory and how to learn music production for myself. I guess music theory, I don't know music theory. I am sadly very ignorant in music theory, not proud of it. I am actually, I'm really not proud of it. I actually hate this. I think the best thing you can do for music theory is take lessons. I kind of been thinking about taking some lessons. Sadly, between music, Seven Skies, and standalone music, I'm very busy and it's really hard for me to take lessons, but I would love to learn how to play the piano and how to play the guitar. That being said, I would say YouTube is the best way to do everything nowadays. It's an infinite source of information, tutorials, people teaching you everything, and it's free. So I would say if you really want to learn something, the best way is just to go on YouTube. That's the way I learned wasn't thanks to YouTube, because I didn't have internet. So I just literally had to try until I figured it out, which in my opinion, it's still the best way possible. But since everybody is so in a rush and so in a hurry to learn everything, there's no patience anymore. I think the best thing you can do, once again, is just go on YouTube, type how to use Fruity Loop, how to use Ableton, how to use Logic, how to use Cubase, and you will find a million videos. That's pretty much it. Okay, next question. This is a very useful one for all the Mac users. What is the USB hub that you use in the studio? Now, I don't really know the brand, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go on Amazon, search it, and post it in this video. And I'm also gonna drop a link in the description down below. Not affiliate or anything. D_Shep2kin is asking if you can give only one best advice about music production, what should it be? This is a tough question, and I wish I could answer with something that, you know, people would quote for years to come, but I don't think I have that answer, to be honest. Besides that, you need to be ready to put a lot of work into it. You need to be ready to literally go through hell. It's hard. It's hard to stay motivated. It's hard to, you know, to deal with a lot of shit that producers have to deal with. It's hard to come up with ideas. It's hard to come up with ideas that are original and that people like. So my biggest advice is, if you really truly believe and you really truly love making music, you have to be ready to fight. You have to be a fighter. The other thing I think is very important is that you realize that music is not everything. Sadly, this is something that I've had to talk to a lot of upcoming producer about, and it's really hard for them to understand for some reason, but music is really not everything. Music will only take you so far. And if you think about it, there are right now probably a million other producers that are as talented or more talented than you are, and more talented than I am as well, and more talented than whoever DJ Mag guy is up there. But what sets top 100 DJs from other DJs, besides some are really great musicians, some are just really good at marketing, some have a really strong image and they know how to promote their image, and they also have great music. So you need to understand that music is not everything. So you need to embrace and deal with the fact that music, again, will only take you so far, and it might actually count for 50% of fame. And the other 50% is the way you use social media, the way you present yourself, the way you talk to people. So in my opinion, all of this thing make a great artist. It's not just the music. I know a lot of producers will hate me for saying this, but trust me, I've experienced it. I've been there. I thought that my music was the most amazing thing ever, and I wanted to do everything myself, and I had this like crazy vision about it. And then I realized people don't care. They care when you give them a package of great music. They are also interested in the person and the brand that you have along your music. So very important. Develop your music, but also develop your image and your brand. Another question that's a very interesting one by Tenma Boy, or Tenmei Boy, is why don't you DJ? Well, I do. The problem is I've come from a long period of time where I only focused on making sounds for standalone music and working on Get Low and all that kind of stuff. So that sort of killed my DJ career for a little bit. But now, as you can see, I'm starting to produce music again. I'm putting my name out there again. I currently don't have an agency, which is probably why it's been so difficult for me to find some gigs, but I'm trying to get back into DJing because I miss it so much. It's definitely still one of my favorite things to do. So hopefully you'll see me at a club or the festival near you. Another question, still DJ related. What app do you use to make your sets? I just use Rekordbox, to be honest. So I'll just put all my tracks inside Rekordbox, and obviously I have folders with, they are organized by month. And obviously I'll try to find the best song that are out at the moment and the newest song, and then I'll try to find some classic, and then I'll just, try to see the key and try to find the perfect mix. For the most part, I do plan a little bit of my sets. I don't play pre-recorded sets, but I do plan some mixing if I know that there's a mix that is particularly awesome. But for the most part, I like to sort of free solo the whole thing, unless it's a very important set. In that case, my anxiety is probably destroying me, and I would rather be on stage and to know that I have a little bit of a backup, and so I will have a little playlist. But again, for the most part, I enjoy DJing free solo, and so for the most part, I'll just use Rekordbox to put everything on my USB, and then I'll just go on stage and play whatever. It's very important for a DJ to read the crowd. Sometimes the bad thing about playlist, if the crowd is not liking your playlist and you can only mix with a playlist, you are screwed because you can't change it. If you know how to DJ and you are prepared to just switch things up, you can read the crowd, and if the crowd is not vibing your music, you can switch it up, test some different genre, test some different BPMs, and if they like it, you can stick with that. Next question, Dario Latessa is asking me, your favorite reverb? To be honest, favorite reverb, Ableton Reverb. I love it. I haven't found anything that sounds as good as Ableton Reverb, and it's it's light on the CPU, is right there. I use it a lot. If it's not the Ableton Reverb, I really like the Valhalla Room and the Art Acoustic. I used to be a massive fan of the Art Acoustic. Now that I make more sort of minimal housey song, I feel like either the Valhalla or the Ableton stock reverb are perfect. Guys, another question. David Loud Music is asking me some tricks to make dope basses. I think the best tool to mess with basses, if you find a cool preset that you want to take to the next level, it's distortion. Once again, I said it before, I'm a massive fan of either Saturn or Isotope Trash. I think those are amazing tools to take your bass to the next level. You can take a bass sound and change it completely. And I think distortion is your best friend, and a lot of people actually don't use the distortion as much as they should. So learn how to use distortion. Okay, so Dev Serene is asking me, what's the most effective way to get better at music when starting out? Perseverance, first of all, and you have to be patient. Like I said before, it takes a long time to get better. You also always have to be open to learn new things. I'm still learning new things. So yeah, perseverance, patience, be open to learn every day, and perseverance again. Art Novoselov is asking me, invisible limiter, still your go-to for mastering? Yes and no. Lately, I've been sort of getting back to, what's it called? The UAD Precision Maximizer. I feel like it keeps the transient a little bit punchier. I don't like the way that it boosts the volume. It gets like the sound gets smashed very, very easily and very quickly. So you don't have a lot of room to work with it, but the punchiness of the transit that you get out of the UAD precision maximizer is definitely superior compared to the invisible limiter. However, the invisible limiter allows you to go louder, so it depends what I'm trying to achieve. If I want the song to be punchier, I'll go with the precision maximizer. If I want the track to be louder, for the most part, I'll still go with the invisible limiter. UDCO Music, I'm sorry guys, I'm probably messing all your names up. I'm super sorry. He's asking, what Mexican DJ would you like to collaborate with? Definitely Mariana Bo. She's I love her music and we're really good friends. We've been trying to collab for the longest time. We haven't got the right tracks yet, but she's definitely my number one Mexican DJ. Sander Eek is asking a question that I've actually got asked a lot of times, so hopefully this will clarify this topic for you. Do you have to ask for permission if you play someone else's song live? Normally, no. If the song has been released and you bought it regularly off of Beatport, or you received the promo, you put it in your USB stick, you go on stage, you play, and that's totally fine. If your producer friend sends you the song just to ask you for feedback and say, hey, new song, what do you think of this? In that case, you should not play the song. Maybe because, first of all, it's not your song. Second of all, hasn't been released and maybe they're still dealing with the label. They're still trying to find the right deal and everything. So if the song has been released, you have no problem. If the song has been signed and the DJ sends you the song and he tells you it's okay to play the song, that's fine as well. If the DJ and the producer sends you the song just to ask you for feedback, in that case, you might want to double check with him if it's okay to play the song. Is_Alexander Music asking, where did you learn your mixing skill? Did you go to a school or what? I didn't go to any school. I just started paying attention to what I was listening. And this is really what mixing, in my opinion, is all about. Obviously, yeah, you need to know a little bit about compression and EQ and all this basic stuff. But I don't consider myself as a master in compression and mixing. I just got really good at listening, and I got, I guess, good at taking some decision when it comes to mixing. This is why I always get a little bit when it comes to, showing how I mix a song. Not because I don't want to show you some tricks that I have, because I really don't have many. But because I think that mixing is such a subjective thing. It really just comes with experience. The only trick that I learned, I would say, is having your kick louder than everything else. That's probably the only thing that is my go-to thing right now, without having to, sitting there and try to judge the whole overall mix. Normally, what I do is I'll just put the kick louder, even before I listen to the song, and then if it's too loud, I'll put it a little quieter, but for the most part, that's my only go-to thing. Kick louder, and then everything else will be sort of set accordingly. So yeah, most important things you can do to learn mixing is listen really carefully. _Beastie_proof___ saying, why the your music is so good? I don't know. Thank you so much for thinking that my music is good. Ramirez Benitez is asking, why Get Low was made for Contact and isn't a standalone plugin. The company name is Standalone Music. Interesting question. The thing is, making a standalone VST plugin is extremely complicated, and you need engineers and programmers who know what they are doing. The first version of Get Low, I coded myself. That's a different kind of code. It's easier. I can code a little bit, and that was easier for me to sort of figure it out. That's why Get Low was made in Contact. The other reason is I felt like there was a hole in the Contact work, because you get Contact is famous for all this like amazing orchestral libraries that are super expensive. But I've been a fan of Contact for years, and I've always wanted to have something that was just useful for dance music. Always wanted to have something that was not a pretentious, super realistic, awesome library. I just wanted to have something that you open it up and it sounds great right away. So this is why Get Low is on Contact. Obviously, I'm hoping in the future Get Low 2 will be a standalone plugin. But again, I need to find a developer. Developers are very hard to find and they are also very expensive. So if you guys know a developer, tag him in the comments down below and I'll be very happy to talk to him and figure out a way to make Get Low 2 a VST plugin. I'm Rajesh_official. He's asking, are you going to collaborate with Martin Garrix? So when are we going to hear it? Martin Garrix and I actually started talking after I released My Frequency with Tiesto. He's been a massive fan of the song, so we started talking. We have not planned Martin Garrix Seven Skies song yet, but rest assured, if I will ever have the right idea that I feel like it fits with Martin Garrix style, I'll definitely send it to him. So fingers crossed that we're gonna work on something together in the future. Mario Ferre, I suppose he's Italian, so I pronounce it with an Italian accent, is asking me, where can we send you a demo? And so here's something that you're probably all not gonna like. I normally don't listen to demo. Now, I don't do it because I'm a bad person. I don't listen to demo for the simple reason that I am extremely busy between the Seven Skies project and standalone music. It's very hard for me to find time to listen to demos and send a proper feedback. That's my biggest problem. It's not sitting there and listen to a song that's super simple. I can spend 20 seconds skipping. If the song is good, I'll spend more than 20 seconds, but in 20 seconds you understand if a song is good or not. The problem comes with answering emails. If I listen to something and if I tell you what the problems are with your song, I want to spend some time and give you a thorough explanation. So I don't have time to do that. That's my biggest problem. So the sort of workaround I found with this is that soon enough, I know I've been saying this a lot, but I started this thing with the Q&A right now, and this is going to be the next move. I'm going to do a live stream either here on YouTube or on Instagram where I will listen to your demos live. This way is easier for me to give you a live feedback, which is, it's easier for me to talk than having to type. So I'll be able to listen to your demo and give you feedback right away. So once again, this is why you have to follow me here on YouTube and on Instagram at Seven Skies, because I will go live and I will listen to your demos. All right, guys, so this is it for the first Q&A video. Please let me know in the comments if you like the format. Once again, I'm planning to do this every other Friday. So go follow me on Instagram so you can ask your question and I'll answer it in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube and also push that bell icon so you can get notified whenever a new video is published. And every time I publish a new video, I stick around for about 30 minutes to an hour. So if you post something in the comments, I will reply and we can start a conversation. So this is it for today from me, David Seven Skies. See you next time and bye bye.